Hello everyone, I hope everyone is doing great. I would like to thank you for taking the time and participating in this workshop seminar today. I want to start with introducing myself. My name is Shaheen. I'm the principal and the president of Arkana Education. And here with me today we have Miss Ana Morales, our online course designer and instructor at Arkana Education currently. The purpose of our workshop seminar today is going to be introducing the program and the workshop that we have been working on for past few years for teachers or certified teachers or non-certified teachers who are interested to teach online. I know that these days, especially with the unfortunate events that we have all around the world with pandemic COVID-19, a lot of changes are happening in our industry, and most of the services that we used to receive from different companies and organizations are turning to be online. And education is not an exception. We know that for the fact that the schools in Ontario are going to be closed until the end of the year this year, and we're hoping that we can have school back on the track as soon as possible. However, we need to adapt ourselves with the new system and the technology that is coming to the game these days, especially for education and high school education, which is the topic for today. I would like to ask Miss Ana Morales to have a few words of introduction, and then we're going to go straight into our session today, and then we're going to have a presentation for you. Ready? Go ahead, please.
Hi everyone, welcome to our workshop. So I just want to go through a couple of housekeeping rules. Okay, so
So the main topic of today is online teaching in the world, and we're going to start with types of online teaching currently working in and being applied on Ontario in Canada. A little bit of background about Canada if you're not familiar with the education system. Currently, Canadian education system is one of the best educations in the world, competing with countries such as USA, England, and Australia to be one of the world leading industries in the education system and the quality of education. On top of it, Ontario education, or the system of the education system that we're currently working with the province of Ontario, is also known one of the best education system within the Canada. Most specifically because of the online system implemented into this system, which we're going to talk about today. So let's just start with a question of how can we develop an online course and teach it. So this is the main topic we're going to briefly talk about today. So at the end of this workshop and the program, the goal is with the cooperation of the teachers and the guidance from our side, we're trying to build a course, create a course, design a course, and teach it. And that course is, for our sake of argument this time, is going to be a certified course with the Ministry of Education of Canada, Ontario, and it's going to be taught to high school students from grade 9 to 12. So if you're an OCT certified, you're more familiar with some of the terms that we're going to talk about today. But if you're not a certified, it's also okay. We're going to share a link with you at the end how to sign up for the actual program and the internship that we're offering today. So let's just start with how So first we want to start with types of online teaching methods. I would like to ask Ms. Morales to give us a brief introduction of each method, and then if there is need, I will also explain more.
thank you, Mr. Shaheen. So often we get asked a question of what are the different types of online teaching. So for the most part, a lot of us have an understanding of what online education is. Whether we have taken an online course for ourselves in university, especially because most I can imagine we didn't have online high school. So it's very important to understand what online teaching looks at the high school level. So at the high school level, we have 3 forms of online teaching methods. The first is an asynchronous method. So this is a self-learning. It means that the student is given the material and they have to go through the material themselves and complete it at their own pace. They are usually given a certain amount of time to complete a course. However, there is flexibility and the student determines when they want to finish and when they want to study. So it is asynchronous. The second form of online teaching is synchronous form, which is a virtual classroom. So currently right now, with the pandemic and everything that has been happening, a lot of classrooms have switched to a synchronous form, meaning that the student is given whether it is a Zoom call ID, a Skype, or a Google Meet classroom, or any sort of video conferencing method where they are to tie into their classroom, and there is a teacher teaching as if they would in a regular classroom setting. The third form of online teaching is a guided method, which means that a student still has the flexibility of the asynchronous self-learning, so they can go at their own pace, but they do have access to a teacher that can help guide them and ensure that they are successful in completing their course. So a lot of the times when we think of online teaching, we are only thinking of the asynchronous form, where the student is given the material and they have to just go through the material themselves, more of a homeschooling type of environment, which we know can be a challenge for some students. So that's why it is important when a student is enrolling into online education, and something that at Arkana Education we have fully tried to incorporate is a consultation to ensure whether or not the student, based on their educational needs, would benefit the most from an asynchronous method. We find that a lot of the time students benefit more from a synchronous or a guided online teaching method.
Thank you for introducing all the methods, and I just want to add that these methods are the methods that we are also interested and looking forward to see more teachers and teachers candidates to join our team. We're currently developing all 3 methods, synchronized, asynchronized, and guided, which is pretty much the mix of the two platforms. And if you're interested in teaching of any of the methods, please stay tuned. We're going to send you a link at the end of the program today, and we will show you how we can develop these steps together. I'm going to go to the next slide, which talks about the online teaching requirements, or basically the question of what do I need if I want to become an online teacher. We've seen from past few years experience with a variety of teachers in different subjects that there often comes some challenges with online teaching, which we may not be aware of when we decide to become an online teacher. So these are the topics we're going to briefly talk about. So passionate about teaching, that's one of the most important part of the teaching in general, and especially in online education, where you need to spend a lot of time in front of a computer. So a lot of teachers prefer to have that interaction in the classroom, where you physically appear in the class and talk with the students, and they enjoy the environment of the classroom. However, now because of the situation or by choice, we are talking about an online environment, which requires a different type of patience and passion towards it. So that's one of the key important parts, and if you would like to add anything regarding this matter, I would appreciate.
So when it comes to teaching online, one thing that we often come across is the difference of energy, I would like to phrase it. So when you are in front of a camera, or you feel like you are constantly being watched, which is the online synchronous platform, it does require a lot more energy out of this teacher. we know that in a regular classroom, we do dedicate some time for the student to work on their own, or there is a lot of group projects. But depending on your classroom size, and maybe you are teaching a private student, that does have more of the one-on-one, more focused energy-wise of teaching. So it really is important that an individual wanting to teach online is aware of the requirements of being in front of a camera and having to dedicate a certain amount of time to that particular student.
Absolutely. The second point in becoming an online teacher is to have a strong time management skill. One of the major differences between online teaching and regular teaching in a classroom is that for online teaching, you will need to prepare and schedule all your material and your teaching strategies ahead of time. And you're technically preparing the entire course or entire class for the student ahead of time, versus when you're teaching in a physical classroom, you have the flexibility of adjust yourself and your teaching style based on the environment of the class each and every day. So in online teaching, the time management skill comes a little bit more bold and important in the whole process. Another point, well, do you want to add anything in terms of the time management skills, Ms. Morales?
One aspect when it comes to online teaching is we're all aware that work from home can be very challenging. So especially when we're trying to manage our classrooms, or just from strictly the teacher perspective, means that you have to dedicate a certain amount of time to answering emails, to interacting with the student, and the flexibility of whether or not, because we do work with international students, of being flexible to work maybe really early in the morning or later in the evening. So when we talk about time management, it is also that flexibility of when you are available to teach a particular class and student.
Thank you very much. The next point is having an effective communication, or being an effective communicator. We all know that part of the teaching comes with how you deliver your knowledge and your skills to the students, and the art of communication comes very bold and important in this matter. We like to work with teachers and teacher candidates that are having a stronger communication skills, especially with the students and the future students that we're going to have in their classes, and also with the team of which is us, to working and developing the courses. So that's another important point of the factors that you may want to consider before entering the field of online education. Would you like to add anything regarding this point?
No, I think you've said it all. Thank you.
And the last point, which is very important as well, is the fact that anyone interested in teaching online education, or being part of the online education, should have the willingness and the want of learning a new skill, because learning with the new technologies today is, and we're going to mention it later on, that we use the platform of Google Education for developing our courses and teaching our courses. That requires for most of our teachers to learn about the Google apps, or the environments that they need to present themselves in order to teach or provide the material. There's a lot of things that we need to learn about it. Everybody is learning at the same time. We are, as a supporter, also learning, because the speed of technology is way faster than any of us, and every day we are facing with new apps, new technologies, which is our part to make sure that we provide the best method of delivering education to you as a teacher. But as a teacher also, you need to be willing to learn new skills in order, especially for teaching in an environment of internet and online, with the computer skills and teaching methods that will be required. If you would like to add anything regarding the teaching skills, or maybe one of the experiences you have in terms of learning a new skill for computer, maybe you can share that with us, how it looks like and what it was.
So one of the most interesting and at the same time challenging aspects is when we talk about biology, maybe online. How do we teach biology, and how do we teach certain lab experience that normally a student will get in a regular classroom? So the thing about technology and the constant advancements of new online workshops or labs or simulations and everything we are seeing is the amazing aspect of being able to integrate this real life lab experience into an online classroom. So we do have this artificial simulation type labs where a student will be essentially dissecting a frog, but they would be doing it online, and they would be learning everything they would in a regular classroom, but at the comfort of their home. So we do see that often, because of the changing and the new applications and the new websites, everything that's coming out for online education, there's a lot of barriers that are being broken down when it comes to teaching online and being able to really integrate everything that we would see in a regular classroom and really adapt that to the online learning environment.
Absolutely. And I would like to encourage everyone, if you're listening to this video live, you can write your questions on the comment sections, which we will get to it at the end of our workshop today. And if you're watching the recorded version of this video, you can always make a comment under the video or send us an email for any further information. I have to also mention that we're recording this session. We will be sending a copy to everyone that has participated and signed up for the workshop, and anyone that was interested in teaching or entering this program. So we're going to get into a little more about the actual courses that we're going to design at Arkana. So designing an online course at Arkana Education, how does it look like and what is it going to be? So first of all, I have to mention that our platform of design and what we go based off has two sections: when the material comes to the online course and where the structure comes to the online course. The material and the curriculum that we use for developing our courses comes from the Ministry of Education of Ontario. So our courses that we're developing with teachers and teaching candidates are going to be certified as accredited course for high school, and we are basing our information and structure and curriculum based on the Ontario education system. If you're an OCT certified, that's a bonus. You will be having a lot of information that we would require from you in order to develop and design a course. But if you're not an OCT certified, that's not a problem at all. We have OCT certified teachers in our members and in our group that can help you and guide you through what you need to know. Even if you're not an OCT certified, at the end of developing your first course, you will learn a lot of what you would be learning if you go to school for becoming an OCT certified. By the way, if you want to become an OCT certified, one of the best ways is to get a Bachelor of Education and apply for the OCT and being a certified teacher. The platform of education is the second aspect of an online course, is where and how this course is going to be delivered on internet. We're using currently one of the best, in my opinion, platform of education. Google Education is the most leading company in terms of developing apps and tools for delivering online courses, and we are partnering with Google Education to deliver all our courses online and virtual, both in synchronized and asynchronized, with using of Google Education. If you're familiar with Google Education certification, you know that you can take courses with Google and become Google certified, and basically what we will be teaching you or guiding you and helping you to develop a course in this program will be also part of the Google Education certification that you would need. So if you are, just like OCT, if you have a certification with Google, that's another bonus. We will be using a lot of apps from Google, but if you don't have any certification with Google, it is okay. We have people in our team that are Google certified and will help you get familiar with all the apps and necessary tools and the strategies that you would need for teaching online using Google Education platform. Would you like to add anything regarding this platform?
No, that's everything.
Okay.
So I think then I would just talk about the next section, which is teaching with Arkana Education. So as we previously just went through a couple of points, our online courses are designed according to the Ministry of Education. So it does require a bit of time and effort from the teachers that we work with to be familiar with the Ontario school curriculum. With that being said, we also work with Google applications, so being familiar with how to integrate Google apps into your classroom, whether that is the Google Classroom itself platform or Google Meet and various other application types. We work with teachers to inform them and really help them learn how they can integrate all these different resources into their online classroom. So teaching with Arkana Education goes into the following steps. The first thing that we would require from anybody interested in teaching online or learning how to develop an online course is by first sending us your resume, right? We want to ensure what your teaching experience, where will you fit best, how can we best mentor and assist you in both the developing process of a course and developing your online teaching skills. The second step is an interview. The interview can be conducted with either Mr. Azad, myself, or one of our other faculty members, where we will really assess whether or not you are a right fit for us. Teaching is a highly regulated industry, so we want to ensure that you're an individual who loves working with students and meets the criteria to be able to teach. The third step is us explaining our internship program. So we do run an internship program that is very flexible according to our teachers' needs. It does run anywhere between 3 to 6 months, part-time. It's not a full-time internship program, and we do help you develop how to take the Ontario school curriculum and use that to develop your course. I know we're all really familiar, in most classrooms, we do have a textbook that guides us. Part of the aspect of online education is accessibility, and that is always a challenge that we receive. So we do work with a lot of open source textbooks, and again, we do really try to ensure that our classes are accessible to all types of students, as well as user-friendly for both the student and the teacher. So once we have explained the internship program and you are a candidate to enroll in that internship, we work with you to develop a course that you will then potentially teach at the end of this program. Once again, as we mentioned previously, if you have any questions, you can put it in the chat section of the Zoom, or we will have a quick Q&A shortly. Is there anything else that you would like to add?
No, I would just like to share the contact information to how to reach that, and I also want to go over how you can start with us in a fast form to tell you how you can start it right now. The first step is sending us an email with your resume. We will look over your resume and we will schedule an interview. And after the first step and the first stage is done, and we find both of us, you and us, find that we're a best fit to start, we will start with an internship program where you will design your own course. If you're an OCT certified, or if you have experience in certain area of the teaching, you can suggest that teaching or course to us, and if that course will be available, we will start with that course. If not, based on your resume and your expertise, one course will be chosen. You will be starting to design that course with the supervision and guidance from our team, and when you're done with the course, you will get an option of teaching the same course online with the students at Arkana Education. So I think this, I hope this session was informative for you. I want to go to the next slide where you can find our phone number, an address, and email address. If you're interested to start working with us, you can give us a call, or the best would be sending us your resume with a brief explanation that you're from this workshop and what are your teachables or what you would like to do. If you have already signed up for this workshop, we have your teaching preferences and your experience. You would just need to send us your resume. If you have any questions, you can mention them on the comment section on the Zoom call, or if you're watching the recorded version, you can send us an email or write your question in the comment section. I hope you all enjoyed this session. We're going to stop now. If you have any questions, please mention them right now. Or other than that, we wish you a great time and stay safe at home and stay positive.